For my scary story, I am going to go to one of the masters of dark and twisted, Rob Thurman, and read from the beginning of her thriller, All-Seeing Eye. I never saw it coming. Pretty ironic for a psychic, isn't it? People would say it was what I was paid the big bucks for. It was my job. I should have whipped out my damn crystal ball. I should have known, but I didn't. Sometimes you don't. A sky that turns from blue to green in a heartbeat, while a tornado with your address lands like the hand of God to swat your house to pieces that scatter half a mile away. A simple cough shows up on a chest x-ray as the future shadow of a grave marker. The ocean inexplicably retreats miles from the beach, only to return at 1,000 times the fury and blot out the sky itself. And there are days you wake up surrounded by family, and by the time twilight creeps in, you're alone for the rest of your life. No matter how careful you are, sometimes the bad, the horrific, they sneak up on you. Sometimes they come boiling out of the shadows, out of the dark corners, and there they are. There they goddamn are. There were no shadows today, but there was darkness, the kind you bury 6 feet under, in the dirt and in your mind. It doesn't do any good. That darkness never stays down. It digs its way out, handful by handful. It may take years, but it always comes back. You feel the bloody fingerprints of it on your subconscious as it rips its way free. You hear its choked and gleeful laughter at how you thought you'd left it behind, that you dare imagine things could be different. Because in the end, it would always be the same as before. It was the same as before. Right now, right this moment. That guy who said you could never go home again? What an asshole. The sky was the same blinding blue, exactly the same. The air still with the same choking heat. The grass and identical faded green splotched with crisp dead brown. I'd lived every summer of my life until I was 14 with that day, that heat, that ground. I'd lived every day of every year since then, knowing I'd never see it again. Wrong. Unlike the sky and the earth, which belonged, although I didn't, not anymore, the knife and the shotgun shouldn't have been there. Couldn't have been. It didn't stop the bright sliver of metal lying on a dusty kitchen counter. It didn't stop a hand from yanking a shotgun out of a closet with a warped wooden door. Everything in its place, just as it had been the first time. I saw the slash and spill of blood as the knife, her best knife, her meat knife, hit a throat and sliced. I felt the lead pellets rip into my ribs, under my arms, as I lunged at a man who had lost his mind to carry the mind of a dead boy instead. It hadn't done much good. I was on my feet, and then I was falling. I went from the sight of the worn boards and dirty window glass of a rundown shack to that of a stained ceiling. I wished it had been blue summer sky. From standing to lying in a house as dead as the people who'd lived in it. From whole to a little less than. I touched the pain, a player all its own, in its own game, and my hand came away red. Who knew agony had a color? It did, though, and it made sense that it would be the same as blood. Crimson as the ever-present Georgia dirt turned to liquid mud, the kind to run like a river after a hard rain. I closed my eyes, but the red remained. The knife had happened before. The shotgun had happened before.